Our number one goal is to not have a data center locate here. We just don't see any benefits outweighing the issues that come with it.
Across the country, communities are wrestling with a new question. What happens when the demand for artificial intelligence collides with local concerns about land, water, and power? It's no different in North Carolina, where at least 20 different data centers have been proposed across the state. And in northeastern Edgecombe County, the debate feels familiar. Many residents see echoes of an industrial development fight their community faced decades ago. Welcome to Shoresides, where we explore coastal North Carolina's past, present, and future to promote community resilience. I'm Lena Hong. This episode is about the residents from all over Edgecombe County who have come together to oppose data center development in their community. We'll hear from David Batts. He's a lifelong Edgecombe County resident who was part of a successful effort in the 1990s to stop a proposed hog slaughterhouse in Kingsborough. Today, he's running for county commissioner and sees the parallels between that fight and the one unfolding now. We'll also hear from Kevin Wilson and Brianna Baker. Wilson helped found Edgecombe Neighbors for Data Center Accountability. It's a grassroots group that formed in response to the proposal. He'll explain how residents organized and why they believe the projects deserve greater scrutiny. Baker is a commissioner in the town of Canida. She helped lead a local effort to pass a resolution opposing data center development in Edgecombe County. She says concerns about health, safety, and community well-being are driving the response. Finally, we'll hear from Dr. Eric Nordman, a professor at Michigan State University who studies environmental policy and economics. He'll place Edgecombe County's debate in a larger national context. He explains why hyperscale data centers have become a growing concern for communities across the country, but cautions people to not generalize all data centers. David Batts is many things. A North Carolinian born and raised in Edgecombe County, a retired truck driver, a father of 2 and grandfather of 5, a farmer. Today, he's running for county commissioner on a platform centered on stopping proposed data center development.
You know, people have pretty well perceived me, and because they know what I'm standing up for. They know that I'm standing up for the Kingsborough community and the surrounding counties, not just my community, but surrounding counties.
You'll hear birds chirping in the background as he speaks. When I spoke to Batts on the phone, he was sitting outside on his golf cart, looking at pear trees and grapevines and getting ready to check on his chickens. Batts' name will be on the ballot this November after defeating a 4-term incumbent in the primary. His campaign is centered on one issue: opposition to data center development in Edgecombe County. The debate began last June when Energy Storage Solutions proposed a 50-acre data center in Tarboro. Months later, the town council denied the company's special use permit application. Energy Storage Solutions appealed that decision, and the case remains unsolved. In the meantime, the company proposed a separate data center in Kingsborough. It's a few miles out from Tarboro.
Well, we want to stop. Be honest. Let's be flat out honest. We want to stop. We don't want a moratorium. That's what the majority of the people want.
For Batts and other community members, the concerns outweigh any potential benefits.
Well, the noise, the lighting, the amount of water it would use, environmental hazards that it could bring. But they say there's going to be 500 construction jobs, and then wind down to 30 or 40 jobs. That doesn't bring a lot of tax revenue to the county on the consumer side. On the people side, it might bring some taxes on the county side, but it don't help our community at large all that much.
Residents organized under a group called Edgecombe Neighbors for Data Center Accountability. Kevin Wilson is one of the group's founders. He says local concerns about transparency and community impacts helped bring people together.
The county is on a bit of a rise. We've gotten some other new kinds of industry that are good community citizens coming in and relocating here. So we're even see potential from a data center being a negative to future growth here.
Since learning about Energy Storage Solutions' plans last June, the group has successfully persuaded local officials to delay key decisions while asking for more information from the company.
We're able to convince the county commissioners that they needed to know a lot more before they sold any land to this group. And the county put together a list of questions like who's financing this? Where's the money coming from? How much? What's your revenue going to be? How much of that will be available in taxes? How much water will you use? How much electricity? Where does it need to come from? And the developer did not provide a portfolio to the county for that. So the county sent them a letter saying, you need to answer all this before we'll even consider this.
As of this interview, county officials are still waiting for the developer to provide that information. But the members of the Edgecombe Neighbors for Data Center Accountability have continued organizing. The group holds weekly meetings to share updates, discuss strategy, and coordinate outreach. They're also active on social media, mostly Facebook.
We've got young people, old people, middle people, people with families, people that are single. It's just a conglomerate of all people coming together. And we've tried to make it as environmentally friendly to be a part of our group as we possibly can to get more people involved in it.
The issue has brought people together across political, geographic, and generational lines.
This is some extraordinary people that are fighting and will fight under any circumstances to protect their way of life and the community they're in and their friendship and their way of life.
A core part of the group are community members who fought back against a proposed slaughterhouse in the mostly Black community of Kingsborough back in the 90s. Batts was one of them.
In 1995, we also fought off IBP, a big hog industry that was coming here. And they was going to kill 20,000 hogs a day, use 20,000 gallons of water per day, and trucks would have been roaming in and out of the neighborhood, and it would have been an environmental hazard to our community too.
The movement successfully stopped IPB from coming to the town. Now, many residents see echoes of that fight in the debate over a proposed data center at the same site.
And when you got an unhappy community, it just don't bring justice. And I think industry and the community should work together, and the people should be right up there with the energy that you're going to bring in that community. The people should be thought about first.
And it's not just community elders who care about this issue, but also the younger generation. Brianna Baker is 24 years old and a town commissioner for Canida. It's a town 17 miles from Kingsborough. She helped pass a town resolution in April to oppose data center development in the county.
We just wanted our voices heard. We wanted the county to know that we're solidified and unified in our opposition to the data centers, because we don't want to risk the health and safety of our residents with these proposed data centers.
Canida has about 200 residents. Baker says many are older adults, and the town's population is mostly Black.
I worry that these data centers, the pollution and the contaminants from these data centers may either worsen the health conditions that they're facing, or possibly contribute to new ones, or both.
Baker has lived in Edgecombe County since she was 13 and says she's deeply invested in the community's future.
I know for the residents of Edgecombe County, we've had a very long history of fighting against corporations that they felt didn't have their best interests at heart.
The debate in Edgecombe County is part of a much larger national trend. I spoke with Dr. Eric Nordman. He's a professor at Michigan State University and the director of the Institute of Public Utilities. I asked him what was driving the seemingly high demand for hyperscale data centers.
A lot of it is specifically being built for AI with these dedicated AI-specific chips.
Data centers themselves aren't new. For as long as we've been using digital tools, we've needed them. But Nordman says that what has changed is the size and energy demands.
There are pretty conventional data centers that we need more of, like ones to handle email traffic and web browsing and streaming Netflix, right? And these are relatively small.
Like many of the new data centers being proposed all over the country, the facility planned for Kingsborough would be much larger than the conventional centers that Nordman describes. He says the rapid growth of hyperscale facilities means that there's still unanswered questions about their long-term effects on communities and the environment. At this point, the full picture remains unclear.
In the best case, when these data centers come in and this infrastructure is built, that is all grid connected, right? So, the data centers want consistent, reliable electricity, right? Because that's how they make their money, turning electricity into knowledge, into information. So they really want consistent electricity. And if we build all this stuff out to serve them, it's connected to the grid. There is the potential that it's going to make the entire grid more resilient, better for everybody.
But that's just one scenario. He points to concerns that some projects could be abandoned. In this situation, communities and utility companies could be left to deal with the aftermath.
So the utilities need to make sure that those companies, the data center companies, are on the hook for those costs for the long term to make sure that they are paid off completely, and the rest of us aren't stuck holding the bag and paying for infrastructure that was built for the data center that doesn't exist anymore.
Overall, Nordman says that not all data centers are the same. He says communities should carefully weigh each proposal.
We don't want to probably have a blanket policy. I think we need to have some nuance in the conversation about like, what is this data center? Like, how big is it? What are the impacts going to be? I think there's probably room for a conversation and maybe legislation that applies differently, that takes into account that there are differences, right, between one that's 1,400 megawatts and one that's 4.
For Batts, the issue ultimately comes down to something simple: the future he wants for his community.
I mean, we are human. We want good stuff for our community. We want jobs that pay well, and we want our kids that want to come back home. Some of us have accumulated some small land and houses and nice homes, and we want our kids to come back one day and live in this neighborhood and be prosperous.
And that's ultimately what got him on November's ballot.
And that's what people voted for. They want to change, and it's just not over yet. But in November we'll see. We're gonna get back out there and talk to the people and try to inform the people. That's what people want to know. People want to know the truth.
I'm Lena Hong. Thanks for listening to Shoresides.